Okay guys, welcome. How are we guys? Good morning, good afternoon, very good evening. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this Friday London session live edition. So what has been a very tricky week on the charts personally. All the moves have just come from kind of middle of nowhere a lot of the time, the impulsive move, so without little confirmation. So as you guys know, I'm a really high confirmation trader, strict trader, wait for my rules to present, to be ticked off before taking any entry. But nonetheless, it's been a solid week, taking 4 trades. Pretty much all of them were Tuesday, to be honest, the majority. So I've had personally 1 win and 3 break evens for the week. So see what we can come up with moving forward today. Final day of the week. Let's have a look at the news, what we've got moving forward today. So alright, so we've got a big one, PC. It's one of the leading indicators in regards to inflation. So a measure of inflation, change in price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. So that is tipped to be greater than the forecast. So that would be actually good for the strength of the currency, of the dollar. Reason being, that might suggest that inflation is still not yet under control, which may mean that they may not cut as soon as what people predict. But I'm still hearing the same type of kind of rhetoric that they will be likely to cut moving forward at least once, possibly twice into the remainder of the year. So whether or not that's priced in or not, I mean, remains to be seen. But nonetheless, guys, let's do the analysis as per the usual. We'll start with GJ. I'll have a look at gold and any request along the way. So if you could, make sure you hit the like button. And without further ado, guys, let's have a look at GJ. So off the back of this candle itself, obviously forming a very strong bearish candle on the weekly time frame. So what I'm likely to look for today is look to trade in line with the strength of this candle. So where could we potentially pull back to within it to form a resistance before we head back down in line with the direction and potentially retest the low. If you do have the volume momentum, continue to the downside. It's been a really strong weekly candle to the downside. Looking at daily, once again, we did flip the structure a couple of days back. Previous daily closed with a long wick to the downside. So based off that, we are still around this support, which was previous resistance to the left. So it's obviously a very strong level around that 197.50 to 198 flat. I'm marking the high of the previous day's candle. Are we going to be flipping structure, or have we even flipped 30-minute structure? Because if so, based on the way that previous daily closed, wouldn't be opposed to buy options as well moving forward today. Onto the 4 hour, we can see that is also technically bearish in structure. Now, as far as to the downside, got a little bit more room if we begin to break the low of the current weekly candle. Now, where we've tapped into, that was yesterday, some resistance here to the left and rejecting, so we're just consolidating. We are technically bearish in structure. Just going to mark in the highest point of that resistance for the time being. I'll obviously be adjusting it if need be on the 30-minute. And that is this current support formed on the 4 hour, and we obviously have the support at the current weekly candles low as well, just below it. So not a great deal of margin, but once again, we'll see what we've got on the 30-minute time frame. So technically bearish in structure, just consolidating near the weekly low. Onto the M30, and we are bullish. Believe it or not, we flipped structure bullish on the M30. So I can just adjust these zones now. Probably just gonna do that to the downside. All right. This is alright on GJ. So what we can see is weekly is forming a strong bearish candle. Structurally on the 30-minute we are bullish. So that's obviously the first time frame that flips to provide some sort of catalyst to take a counter bias entry. So what I'll be looking for today is, if we will obviously form support at the current daily candles low around this 197.20. Price was to start to close below it, tap into that resistance and pull away. Got a bit of lag there, guys. Then there's a high probability at that point there we will come back down to retest the current weekly candles low. So that will be in line with the weekly candle. not so concerned by the daily, sorry, by the 30-minute structure at this point. I'm just gonna drag, no, actually I'll leave it there because that is the 4 hour. I was pointing the 4 hour. It is too, so I'll leave it there. So if we start to close below that level there, 197, 180, we'll consider the sell options. Now, as for the buys, likely at this point, the cleaner buys aren't going to come still until we pop above that previous daily candles high. Obviously, at that point there, we run into some pretty clean traffic, and there's a good chance the price will come up first of all to at 199 flat, and then potentially all the way up towards eventually at 199.80. So some clean moves. Seeing we've been trending strong throughout the week, what it's done is open up the ranges, made some clean ranges for us to trade into, whether that be the upside or downside. The current area is just a choppy mess, so it's going to be very difficult trading within it. So likely what I need to do is just patiently wait. Now, the only other scenario where I consider potentially buying it above the current level of support is if price did actually pop down to this level, potentially tapping below that the support, current daily candles low, and actually pop back above it, leaving that liquidity wick maybe to the downside. And at that point there, I may consider a buy option to take it back up towards the current daily candles high and the previous daily candles high. Aside from that, definitely be interested in the buys above that previous daily candles high. And that is pretty much it on GJ. Also sells, obviously sells if it does reject the resistance, would make perfect sense. Still in line once again with that strength of the weekly candle, so irrespective of the 30-minute structure, it would still make sense to sell it. As I mentioned at the beginning, I'm just looking to see where potentially we could pull back to reject. That is obviously one level around that 198.50 sort of level to 60. So that is GJ, guys. Hopefully it makes sense. Let me know what you think. Be great if someone could just tell me. Yeah, all good. And we'll move on to have a look at the gold. So I haven't had many opportunities to trade gold this week. I think I've taken the one trade on gold was the win. Aside from that, I've taken 3 trades on GJ, all were break even. So let's see. Makes sense. Nice one. All right, let's have a look at gold now. So moving forward, obviously making a stronger pullback at the moment. Current weekly candle, very strong bearish candle. So once again, based off the back of that, likely going to be looking for the sells, but we'll see. Have we got some structure flipping on a 30-minute or so, which could provide some options to buy some sort of catalyst. Once again, tapping into this previous level of resistance here to the left, these wicks still remaining above it. So we'll see what we've got once we go down to the minor time frames. But what we do see is the current weekly is a strong bearish candle. So once again, looking to see potentially where we could pull back to before we head back down. The daily structure still remains bullish. But well, obviously the previous candle closed a strong bearish candle. Once again, I mentioned yesterday, we tapped into a target on the daily and we are respecting that support to the left. Current daily has a higher low to the previous daily candle. Let's mark in the high of that current daily candle and we'll see what we've got above it. So we know we're bullish in structure, but the candle is obviously still making a pretty strong pullback on a higher time frame. Onto the 4 hour, and it's quite evident this is a very strong level of support that we've tapped into. We are bouncing off it. Now, as far as resistance, I'm going to have to mark it in once I go down to the 30-minute, but we are consolidating back to the lows of this support. So as long as we remain above it, it's a high probability at some point we'll make a bit of a pullback, whether it be just a short-lived pullback to create a lower high before we head back down in line with the strength and the direction of the higher time frames. Also, the 4 hour structure is technically bearish, so we just could potentially pull back to create that higher low, reject, and begin to head back down. Thank you for this up. What we can see is below this support, we have some very clean traffic below 23.47.73. So straight off the bat, if price was to pull back down to create a lower low, I'd definitely be interested in sell options below that level there. Now, once again, structure is bearish. Previous candle did close back a bullish engulfing candle. Don't like seeing these long wicks though, because obviously it's going to resemble a bit of choppiness on the minor time frame. So without further ado, let's go down to the 30-minute. I'm not going to bother with the 4 hour resistance. I'm just going to mark in some levels on the M30. Now, what we can see, the 30-minute is bullish. So once again, guys, providing a catalyst to potentially trade against the overall direction of the current weekly candle. And the fact that we've got the 30-minute bullish, also the fact that we've got the daily bouncing off of support, respecting a lot of that previous daily candle, quite evident on the 4 hour, bouncing off a very strong level of support. I could also potentially look for the buy option. So what we will be doing is, if we pull back down to this support, potentially grabbing that liquidity. So long as we remain above it, we are technically bullish. So just going to mark in, before I do anything else, I'm just going to mark in some levels. I'm going to mark in the high of that bearish candle. I may have to adjust it again though. I'm going to go down to the 15 shortly just to see. Now, if we begin to pop above that level, it's a high probability we'll pull back towards the current daily candle's high and then retest the resistance at the high of the consolidation around that 23.81. So once again, I'm also going to mark in that. I'm going to change it to gray, seeing it's probably the highest point for 4 hour. It's a tricky one, guys, to be honest. You could have it blue, gray, it's up to you. But aside from that, price did come back down to support. I'm obviously going to be looking for options to take a buy from the support, respecting the 30-minute structure, just trade the range. And that would be, once again, for me, something I would consider moving forward. And if we pop below it, obviously I'd be interested in the sells. Can I adjust this zone at all on the 30-minute? Not really. No, you can just running into all these weeks. It's a very strong level of support. Now, all right, let's go down to the 15 for a minute. See what we've got. All right, so the 15 is going to be difficult, I feel, to buy it above that level. I'm just going to adjust that to the highest point. Obviously, if we reject though, I can look for the sells from up high. What we've done just now is though, we've below a previous support, we've actually formed another support, minor support, closed back a weak bullish candle. Now what I'm going to do is wait for London open and see how this candle closes. If this closes itself on the 30-minute a weak bullish candle, in a London open, begin to break the low of the minor pause in line with the strength of the weekly candle. At that point there's a high probability that we will continue to the downside, potentially back down towards 23.62 will be the first sort of target, 62.50, 63 sort of level. Just going to mark in this previous support we have broken. I want to see if price does still close below it. That would be a catalyst, enough of a catalyst to potentially suggest to me that if we begin to break that candle's low, there's a high probability we will come back down further. So this rate, I'm going to wait for London open and could be looking at potential sell options on gold. So put sells below this point here. Now further sells, again in line with the strength of the weekly, I'd still sell it from higher up against the 30-minute structure itself. I feel like I just want to adjust that up, to be honest. Yeah, it sells from below around at 23.7650, and obviously buys above 23.82 as well, guys. That's what I'd be looking at on gold. Just adjust this a little bit. So yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. So we could get an option. Now, as far as buys from this point, what sort of cows do we have? Nothing. I was going to say, if we had a bullish engulfing, potentially. Well, let's just see. It could be options. Could be options above this support, but for that to happen, what I want to see is obviously this candle close a very strong bullish candle without making the move, obviously leaving margin, followed by the London open candle creating a minor pause just above this support, similar to what I mentioned just here. Very similar sort of candle as to that bullish candle, but obviously a bearish candle back above that support, and maybe the second 15-minute candle of the London open candle as it begins to break above that pause, I would consider a buy to take it back up towards the current daily candle's high, as long as I do have the margin. So it's just me planning ahead. There's a lot of if, buts, maybes to go well before that point either way, so just wait and see, guys. As far as a focus, well, at the moment it's gold. GJ's just not moved at all. throughout the day, so we'll keep an eye on gold. I'm just gonna remove that. Actually, I'm gonna adjust it. I'm just gonna use the most recent levels for the time being. All right, who we got? Welcome, one and all. YouTube and TikTok. Peter, morning to you, mate. Franco, morning as always as well. Sexy, Carl F, good to see you. Hope you've had a good week. Chef Wilson, as always, good afternoon. Welcome to you. Joseph as well. Ian, all same old names. I appreciate you guys. Brooks, morning, mate. Could you look at GU and EU? Yeah, I definitely will. Just give me a moment and I'll definitely start to look at some of the pairs as per the request. Doc, good morning to you. Yep, Carl, cheers for that. Actor, hello to you. And Benny Chamberlain, how are you, brother? Welcome. So GU and EU. GU, heavy consolidation. So in a downtrend, obviously the weekly credit pullback was still above a resistance here to the left though, but candle itself is forming a very strong bearish candle. So once again, based off that, what I'm likely going to be looking for is potential levels that we could pull back to within the current weekly candle and reject for potential options to sell back down towards the low. And then if you have the volume momentum in line with that candle, obviously, as it breaks, create a lower low. Daily, structure wise, still bullish, and probability wise to the downside. If we break the previous daily candle's low, open the gap to the upside, high probability will push back down a little bit further as well. So potentially we've got some levels around that 128.260. There's enough margin to get some pips in below that previous daily candle's low. It looks a lot cleaner on the 4-hour time frame. Structure wise, it is bearish as well. So 4-hour looks good. I'd be marking that as the most recent resistance. Be marking below is the most recent support. Below potential, I mean, you've got to consider this to the left as maybe a level to start managing it if it taps in and rejects, but I see potential for it to come all the way back down, not necessarily today, but eventually to 127.838 if it does begin to pop below that previous daily candle's low. We've got some really clean traffic to the left hand side below that level, so that will be the likely destination at some point. In line with the structure, creating lower highs, lower lows. So looking at day 30 minutes, sorry, just adjust this a tad. So the 30-minute is also bearish. There is no catalyst at all at any time soon for anything, for any buys. In my opinion, it's not going to flip bullish until it closes above this 128.90, and even then you run straight to resistance. So off the back of the strength of the current weekly candle, I know you've got clean traffic just above the resistance form at the current daily candle's high. If it were me, I'd rather sell it today. It's a little bit different to GJ and gold. GJ and gold, you've got the 30-minute bullish, so that is why I would consider the counter bias, counter weekly, counter formation entry. Whereas on GU, everything's screaming to the downside. But look, if you don't mind the counter entry, what you need to wait for is a nice strong closure above that 128.650, retest of that zone, and look to buy it as it pulls away from it. Seeing it's just consolidating, I would rather see the closure above, a tap in, and then as it breaks, that would be my entry. So on like a buy stop, as opposed to a limit order, or just buying it as it closes above or breaks out. It's not breaking out anywhere because it's not creating a higher high in an uptrend. Breakout in this case would be below low, creating a lower low in a downtrend. So one option, sells from this level. Well, it's rejecting now, so a bit late for that. Obviously sells below low upon continuation would be also a nice option on GU. And if it does rip for whatever reason to the upside, then look for rejection and possible entries on a sell below 128.836. That is GU. Assuming EU is going to look similar. Yeah, kind of, not the exact same. Still respecting the same levels I marked in yesterday as per someone else's request yesterday. I'm just going to be a bit lazy and adjust these. Even that zone's still relevant, to be honest. and just adjust it across the most recent price action. All right, 30-minute bearish here, back bullish. Yeah, 30 minutes bullish. So this is a little bit different to GU because you got a 30-minute bullish. I'm assuming everything else is the same. So you got weekly forming strong bearish candle. Daily is bullish in structure. Previous daily closed back bullish as well. So there's more catalyst in my opinion to buy here. Your 4-hour is bearish and broken a low of the previous candle, higher high, lower low. So just potentially grab liquidity from the upside. If it there's a good chance it will continue down. Now, what I'd be looking at on the 30, seeing it is technically bullish and will remain bullish so long as it remains above this support really. And it obviously hasn't created a high just yet. So probably, in my opinion, I prefer wait for a pullback to form support for a buy option. What do you got in 15? Is this sell? It's not the cleanest. There's no momentum at all. I don't see really any clean sells at the moment. I mean, if it did pull back, close bullish, engulfing on the 15, closing the M30 back above this previous support here to the left, possibly that could be a buy option for London Open as well. So if this candle closes back up above that support, that could be an early buy option, take it back up. Otherwise, rejection of the resistance to sell it yet again. That is GU, my friend. Hopefully it makes sense. Sorry, that's sells, not buys. Buys above that point there. All right, so we got just under 3 minutes left for London Open, guys. What's gold doing? All right, so we want it to reject, want it to start rejecting. Be nice if this candle closed below that support, close the M30 below it, a weak bullish candle, then I would consider a sell at London Open. As is right now, it's forming too strong of a bullish candle. So what that would mean is I need to wait for closures yet again if I was to consider any entry, not take the impulse entry. Members have just sent a link if anyone is interested in joining. What have I missed? Carlef, week's been interesting. Life has been lifing hard. Could be good, could be bad, but hopefully it's a good thing. Conspirio, g'day to you. Hope you're well. Good afternoon. Vishal, good morning to you. Still late morning or very early afternoon. Hope you're well. James, good morning, brother. Brooks, all good, mate. Joe, gold buys are still on the table though. Yes, I'd like to see because I don't actually have a catalyst other than just the candle closing back bullish. I don't have a candle that's closing with a high. Got a higher low. It's not closing engulfing, nor have I got it breaking or engulfing a 15-minute candle or breaking resistance. So like I mentioned before, what I probably prefer to see in this scenario is maybe a little bit of minor resistance form on the 15-minute time frame, the first 15 minutes at London Open. Because I don't yet have a catalyst, to be honest. As per my rules, candle closing back bullish. It's created some lower highs, lower lows. I want to see a little bit more. If we create a minor resistance on the next 15-minute candle and begin to break it, then that's going to, for me, that's a catalyst to suggest we're coming back up to that point here. Yes, there is a chance that if it creates a low wick and begins to break the high at the 30, they can do it for sure, or can. But it's just not exactly my cup of tea against that strong bearish candle. I want to see a little bit more on that. And if I miss it, I miss it. It's all good. Peter, more into you, mate. All right, so London Open, guys, closed back too strong of a bullish candle. If you are interested in buying it, what I'd suggest is wait for it to create a bit more of a lower wick at this point. Just open, and it's broken high. I would not be in it for me. GJ, forget it. So let's just focus on gold. GJ's completely out of the question at the moment. TikTok, to all you guys, welcome. Ben, not really, just another day, to be honest. That says enough, doesn't it? You know exactly what I mean by that. Playing week and shift. Oh, really? Yeah, it's not easy, is it? No rest. No. Oh, it is. Alright, so if it were me again on gold right now, I'd wait for it still to create a lower wick. I would not take this personally. Any lower wick, you got a tiny lower wick. For me, it's not sufficient. But you guys are happy with it? Like I always say to you, you always want to feel comfortable in a trade. If I was to take a buy right now, I would not be feeling comfortable, so I'm just not going to take it. Let's have a look at the hourly as well. The hourly's closed back a bearish candle. Yeah, still there's just nothing for me right now on it. No rest for the wicket. Yeah, exactly. You know exactly what I mean. We've had the discussion many a times. Just been one of those weeks personally where a lot of the time the catalyst hasn't presented and the move has come on the impulse, which a lot of times come from nowhere as well, so it's made it quite difficult. But that's all good. Look at that candle. Look at that. That's that time of day that I always tell you guys. 11 a.m. for all us Aussies on the southeast and well, the eastern side of the country. Around this time of year, 11 a.m. is where the action starts for Asian session. Pulled all the way back to this support, closing up near its high. The next candle's just shot straight up, so that getting a lot of movement during the Asian session. We'll see. London session this week has just been a mess for the most part. Alright, in the meantime, I will do some BTC analysis. So starting at a weekly end, look at that. So strong bounce off, or even the 50%. We actually popped back lower than the 50%. It didn't, obviously we checked it yesterday, but what we can see is we're now pulling back up. So in line with the strength of that previous weekly candle. Onto the daily time frame now. Obviously Bitcoin is 24/7, so the weekly still has a few more days till the candle is closed. Daily, that is a really nice sign of potential reversal. The hammer candle closing after tapping into that support, closing up near its high. This candle has done what a lot of candles would do after that candle prints, and it's pretty much just shot straight up. As far as the destination, there's a good chance to pop back up at some point to 68.20. It is bullish in structure, as we all know, from this big impulse from that 50k all the way up to the high. And now you've got some trending micro trend as well within the trend itself, within the structure itself, creating some higher highs, higher lows. So it looks good for continuation to the upside based off the higher time frame. 4 hour structure is almost bullish. It's still technically bearish. As long as it respects this resistance, you can argue it's bearish. I'll adjust it once I go down the time frames. Above it, probably marking that level there. That's the 4 hour. So 4 hours has broken a resistance. It's closed above the bodies of the candles to the left, not quite flipped the structure though. Once again, it suggests to me that there is good opportunity, or good chance I should say, that we could continue to the upside and begin to break the high of that previous 4 hour candle. The M30 consolidating right at that resistance. So what I probably just do now is drag it across. It's just heavy consolidation on Bitcoin. It's a tough one as far as levels. Probably use that. All right, 30 minutes not going to be flipping anytime soon. I reckon with Bitcoin, I just trade it in line with you just wait for it to either close above the resistance or below it, to be honest, below support, because you still got a few days left to print in a weekly. You still are printing a bearish candle, so the sells still are valid if you do, or if the price does respect this current level, irrespective of the structure itself. Then we could head back down to the most recent support form below it, which is this point here at 66.30 sort of level. So what I've been looking at is sells back below that previous resistance, nice strong closure below it, and I consider the sell option, take it back down, and buys above. Let's look at it in 15 as well. $30-minute closure above this resistance, and I feel that would be enough of a catalyst, because then you're popping back above this support here to the left as well. It's a good chance at that point there price will come back up towards 67,650 roughly, so enough margin to grab some pips above 67,250 roughly. So that's how I'd be looking at Bitcoin for anyone who really cares. And back to gold and GJ's. GJ, tough level it's at, because to the upside, straight into consolidation again, and gold is just dull at the moment. No real volume. So 5 minute will just create a lower wick by the looks of it. So if breaks zone high now will be more probable. Still not strong enough of a confirmation in my personal opinion though. I don't prefer to sell it, if I'm to be honest, based off the weekly candle and just where it's at, to be honest guys. But a cheeky little buy option will probably be as it breaks its own high yet again. I think it's pulled back to create a lower wick now. So if anyone's considering that buy, you'd be in it probably just now. What you probably do is your stop loss should be below the 30-minute, and you can probably adjust it now to the entry candle. So it has a high, low, high, high. It'd be pretty safe at that point. If it was to continue bullish, has no need to pull back and break its own low. But again, it's not quality enough for me to take at this point. So if I'm to look for a buy now, what I'd probably prefer to see is this 15-minute candle close pretty much where it's at, close right near the high, pretty much where it's at just now. And if that was to be followed by a weak bearish pause on the second 15-minute candle London Open, going to close another 30-minute candle bullish. Also be breaking minor resistance at that point, so that's when I would consider it. But at the moment, if it goes, it's fine. Not bothered one bit. How's the week been, guys? How have you found it? Has you found it a little bit of a tricky one, or you guys fared well? Let me know. To the VIP members in the chat, I pretty much straight after this stream will jump on accountability call, if anyone is about for it. Sand man past 10k challenge. Congratulations, my friend. Good, well done. Good work. Well, I've got to go. Quick visit today, back to normal next week. All good, my friend. You appreciate you for joining. Have a good weekend, and yeah, catch you next week. So there goes gold. Anyone take the option? Did? Let me know. Mr. Phil, good morning to you, mate. Hope you're well. Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Just actually waiting on see what happens with gold. GJ's just in some heavy consolidation. Joe, no entry on gold because previous M30 closed 2 or 3 pips too low. Yeah, it didn't close back above that support. That is correct. Yep. So if that was your plan, well done to you for sticking to it. Yeah, it's a massive sign of maturity. Clarksonization, all good, mate. Thank you for joining as per the usual week. I appreciate you. You have a good weekend, my friend. I'll catch you next week. This 15 is going to close. It's not good. But I mean, for a buy option, it's not great. Because what I would want to see is this counter close closer to its high and then followed by that pause. Pause happens just here. I don't like leaving those long wicks to the upside. What's going to happen is the 30 minutes also going to close back, probably a doji, if not back even bearish potentially. We do pause in the 15 minute, so it's likely not going to be an option to buy if that's the case. Uma, hello to you, welcome. Guys, I did also, I forgot about until it was late last night my time. I did post a video. It was supposed to be a short video, but it happens to be that goes for 1 second longer than what the minute, so it classifies it as a normal video. If you have not watched it, it goes for 1 minute and 1 second, so it's not going to take much of your time. I suggest having a watch and learn from it. It's a recap of a trade taken and a step-by-step analysis of how to enter and what went on. So what I can do is leave a link to it in the chat and in your own time for 1 minute and 1 second. Have a look at it and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of it. Oh, JJ's moving. Just film my thoughts on EJ. But I accidentally deleted it. Looks like I did. Alright, my thoughts of EJ. So, based off the weekly, once again, more likely to be interested in selling it today. Daily, not quite tapped into the support, but almost. Close back a bullish candle, so I mean that could suggest otherwise against the weekly strength of the weekly candle, because that is obviously a sign of potential reversal long wick to the downside. If we break above it, some clean traffic to the left, there's a good chance we'll make a move back to the upside. But what other confluences do we have? Do we have any structure flipping on more so to 30-minute? Wow, we can see it made a strong bounce. Once again, still a little bit of room though to the downside. So for whatever reason we're pulled up at this point here, structure wise it is still bearish. We are now consolidating, so losing a bit of steam to the upside. Let's take a look at it on the 30-minute time frame. So above that previous daily candle high, relatively clean chart. I mean, you got some level here to the left, but it's enough margin by the looks of it. Yeah, about 20 pips, so it just depends how far above it actually does close. But otherwise, structure, we are bullish on a 30-minute, so enough reasons to look for a buy against the strength of the weekly candle. We've got 30-minute bullish, we've got that previous daily closing back bullish for long wick to the downside. If price was to begin to break above that previous daily candle's high, there's a high probability of pull back further into the weekly candle. And otherwise, what I'd be looking for is, that's the most recent support really that were formed. Below we've got clean traffic to the left, so if price was to start the pop below 166, 140, I would consider sell options from below that point there. And otherwise at the moment, just need to let it create some clean move through this vest. As you guys know, when price is consolidating, what I prefer to see is let it create a clean move, or a bit to the downside, reject, pop back above for a buy, or to the upside, rejection, pop back below for a potential sell. That's what I'd be waiting for at the moment whilst it is consolidating. That is my opinion of EJ. And if that is to be the case, then obviously sells from the high would be valid as long as it respects it. Remembering current weekly is forming a very strong bearish candle, and also the buys from the support would also be valid if we do cut through, make a clean move to cut through all this mess, as long as we remain above support. So that is my opinion of EJ. Hopefully that makes sense. Uma, Discord expired. All right, it does it all the time. It's a real pain. I'll update the link now for you. Just give me a moment. Sort of free Discord group. Where is it? And don't forget, guys, you have up until the end of this month, so you've only got a few days left to take advantage of the VIP, the foundation membership price. So a link to that is also down below if anyone is interested, or if you'd like to know more, feel free to send me a message and I will happily share with you more information. But what I guarantee is I'm going to create a bunch of really confident, consistent professional traders. So it takes time. Don't think it can happen overnight, because if you were to follow what I do, and you've got my course in there, it's all in there. You were to follow everything I do, it's going to take a bit of time for sure, just to get used to all the intricacies and looking for the right catalyst at the right levels, marking the zones correctly and things like that. But mark my words, like once you can get the hang of the majority of it and you start to know what sort of catalyst and things you're looking for at certain levels and what rules to apply, the rest becomes straightforward. And then you know that there's a high probability and you're feeling more comfortable and confident in every single trade. Yeah, it's the point where you start to see some really good consistency. So that is my vision with the group of building trades like that. And the best way to do it is trading live with me as often as we can. So I do pretty much go on a live call with the guys every single day. Even on the weekends, we do sim sessions. Yeah, like nearly every day of the week, there's some sort of live call going on. So it's definitely good value for money. Good day to you. And well done on obviously what I saw in a free Discord group. Good work. Gold is just lifeless at the moment, has no volume. Sam, man, took you 1.5 years. That's pretty good, man. That's quick. That's really quick. It took me probably all. The thing is, I started with swing trading. I started with crypto as well. As far as scalping, it probably took me about the same length of time to see some consistent results. Didn't mean I didn't have any, backward steps in between, but for the most part, I was consistently making a profit. Got the full move on GJ, left and right. That's all right. Nice one. I mean, there is absolutely no confirmation to take any trade at the moment on GJ, but that's all good. Like I mentioned, I trade off the 30-minute using 15 as my confluence is sometimes 5-minute. Just because the 30 isn't providing many options for me this week, doesn't mean all of a sudden, all right, I got a 5-minute and say, right, got a bit of support here, right, that counts how I'm entering. And yeah, it would have worked in this occasion. But the amount of times, if I was to do it every single time the 30-minute wasn't presenting, and I was coming from consolidation, I hazard a guess I'd lose probably 7 times out of 10, roughly. So for me, I just know need to wait for my plan to present. If it does, fantastic. If not, it's another quiet day, nothing I can do about it. Because you don't lose anything, so capital preserved. For me, it's a W if you follow your plan. And if your plan is to trade a 5-minute or 1 minute for that matter, and you're doing it and you're doing it successfully, fantastic. It's just not my plan. So that's it. I'm going to be true to what I am as a trader, what I believe in. Shows in val. Are you kidding me? Oh man. I'll try it one more time. I have no idea why. I literally just refreshed the invite link. All right, try it now. That's, you are clicking on the free Discord, aren't you? By the way. Yeah, I need some pause on 15. But still looking for the sells, to be honest. I still prefer the sells. Then I on trade crypto before. Has some experience swing trading. Nowadays day trading helps me with work-life balance. Really appreciate streams. Good energy here. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate the kind words, and yeah, well done. Pretty much the same journey I went through. Started with the crypto and swing trading, and to be honest, it wasn't for me. Mentioned it many times in the past. I found I was getting a lot more emotional swing trading than what I do scalping. Goats. GL, I'm not sure what that means. On 5-minute chart, form triple bottom with rejection on the same spot. Nice one. That's all good, mate. Like I said, fantastic. If you training your plan, that's great. But for me, there's just literally no entry at all there. It's just is what it is. But for others, there might be, and that's fine. Well done. That's the beauty of trading. There's so many different ways to skin a cat. You know, just whatever works for you. Just appreciate that fact that you're here. So the only thing I see here is a liquidity candle. But I know these wicks just mean in choppy traffic, especially in the 15. All All right, so we've got the 30-minute candle closing. Still not yet a catalyst on gold, in my opinion. Going up for 15, closing back bearish to create that minor resistance back above support. Maybe it will happen on this 15-minute candle, but it looks like it's potentially exhausting. There's not much strength in this pullback. Not the strongest bullish candles at all. So we'll see. GJ. What sort of margin is there to 15 pips? And a 20 plus pip stop loss doesn't have enough of a low wick. It's gone. I'm gonna see how GJ forms. Pulls back a bit further and begins to break again. I may consider a small entry. It's the first minute of the new M30. Hourly's pushed a fair distance though, hasn't it? 63 pips already. Again, it's just not great. So on gold now, what I can do is just adjust that. Joe's resistance on GJ around 198.26 as well. Yeah, that level there. Yep. Yeah, I mentioned that. That could be a level that does reject. There was about, once it broke this candle's high, there was about 15 pips, but once you count spread, probably about 13 or so. So not much margin. Not much of a low wick. The hourly's already pushed quite significantly and it's still coming from the consolidation. So the hourly looks like it could come up towards that 198.470. And once again, I'm a perfectionist and that's what works best with me in trading. So it's not perfect. So I don't need to feel forced to trade. At this rate, I'll be looking at gold. Potential gold sells. Looks like we now may be rejecting it again. Wow, JJ is pumping C in my MetaTrader. We need to wait for gold 23 more minutes. BJ, interestingly enough, is approaching a very strong level of resistance, so some of you might know what that means. Depending how the next candle opens, could be some very impulsive sells. So 50% probably lines up the open of that candle, of that zone itself. Yep, right on it. It's a really strong level. We'll drag that across. You can see it lines up perfectly with that to the left. So let's see where this candle closes. If it pops straight up with our low wick, perhaps in around 50%, which lines up the open slash close candles here to the left, we'll look for an impulsive sell. In anticipation, it's going to pull back below, create a low wick. At that point, it'll be at break even, probably likely securing some profit. Stop loss will be back above the high of the range. So thank you for the sub, by the way. So that's the possibility, but again, a lot of water to go on the bridge just yet on GJ, and gold sells below the support. It's tapped into it. Let's see if it's going to actually start to pop below it. Confirm another lower high or low. If it does so, and we tap into that previous zone of support, begin to pull away from it, at that point I can consider a sell option. I love these messages from a number I have no idea where it's come from. Plus 2.5, sorry, plus 255, whatever area code that is. Hello mate, it's been a long time since we last met. I wonder if you still remember me. I really miss you. Are you okay? My WhatsApp account has been deactivated. I hope you can admit my Telegram account by clicking the link below. 100% I'll do that right now. Oh god, honestly, just do not stop. Every day I get something, every single day. I'm not clicking on a stupid link. Ah, they're relentless, these people. Oh mate, from plus 255. Where is that? Plus 255. Tanzania, my old mate from Tanzania, out of nowhere. Gotta love it. They're persistent. Kenya, yeah, Tanzania. Nearly every day without fail from somewhere around the world. Old school chum must be. Just moved, packed up shop and moved across to Tanzania from Melbourne. As you do. Just wants to be our course, mate. Shouldn't be thinking negative of it, should I? Alright. Interesting on gold. bouncing off the support. Might be getting a bit of a weak closure. Stop clicking those dodgy links, I know, mate. Where have I been looking on the internet? Nah, nearly everyone's details have been leaked here in Oz. Like, literally. Through, hackers. Nearly every bank has had their data leaked. Insurance companies, everything. Even retail outlets have your file on finger on that. Yeah, they've been, again, they've had breaches of their data and that. So it's just, you cannot hide anywhere. You just, I feel sorry for the people who actually fall for it. And in all seriousness, the elderly are ones that do fall for it because they have no idea what's going on. Often have to say to the old lady not to panic and just don't click on any link. I always get it, make sure she shows me the message prior to looking at it as well. It can be very confusing. Some of them are really deceiving. You often hear stories of some of the elderly having their bank accounts drained and falling victim. So it's a nasty world at the moment. All dropping a bit again, so we wait and see. V and Reach gold, bullish or bearish? At the moment, I'm preferring to sell some gold. Much prefer to sell it. So 15 is closed, bearish engulfing. It's tapped into support, so there's no sell option just now on this 15. I need to wait for the 30 minutes to close now. And GJ. Bearish engulfing on GJ. What would I think of that? Yeah. Go back to the flyer. It's not quite tapped into the flyer zone. We're gonna focus on gold. Be my quietest week in a while on the charts. To be honest, most weeks I played, I've been taking probably about 6 to 8 trades of a week, which is, doesn't sound like much, but it's a trade a day. It's more than a trade a day. You only need one good trade a day. That's more than enough. So this week, it's just, like I mentioned, just the 4 trades. Most of them have just been nothing, just break evens for the 3 of them, except for the 1 win. Mind you, that one win was a really nice win on gold. There we go, it's trading all on the support level. Very good option for buys. US oil. Yeah, it's also, by the looks of it, at a resistance. Weekly still is bearish. Lower high, lower low to previous. Bear pullback though. Daily counter probabilities to the upside, and I mean, buys in my opinion, based off just price action on the daily, if it broke its own high, seeing it's now broken high in the previous, is now pulling back, perhaps to grab some more liquidity. It was now to continue bearish. There is no need for it to, seeing it's recreate the upper wick, for it to pull back and break its own high. And if it does, then what it's likely have done at the moment is just grab that liquidity. Once it breaks the high, there's a good chance it will make a deeper pullback to the upside. So based off that, looks good for a buy option. Our structure is, well, you can argue it's bullish if you include that as a swing. Otherwise, you could also say it's rejecting a strong level of resistance. So that to me would look more like a, based off that, a potential sell from this level. Now we've got support, which, look, it's, you could argue it's bearish in a 30. You could also argue it's still bullish as long as it's closing above that wick on that bullish candle. What I would say is that would be my support. You got a bit of support just here. Seeing it's a Friday, I'd rather have a little bit more margin. Look for the buys above that 78 sort of level. Price did pull back to it. It's a good chance that it could do so. Look for some support form above that point there, and I'd also, if it does pull back, form a support only to reject and close below it. We can see got some clean traffic to the left. Not only that, we're back below previous resistance over here to the left hand side, a little bit further to the left as well. So I'll be looking for sells by that point there. Also sells upon rejection of the resistance around that current daily candle. We do pull back only to respect it. It could be an option to sell it, and as I mentioned before, buys above it, but you got to consider you've got this resistance here to the left, so it's a lot cleaner once it pops above 78.68 for the buy option. So I'm just going to keep an eye on gold. Keep a bit of an eye on JJ. It's what you wait for the last 45 minutes. Sorry, missing stuff. All good. No need to apologize. I haven't missed much. Gold hasn't really done a thing since London Open. JJ pumped from consolidation and is now rejecting, not quite tapped into the 4-hour level. Been a tricky one, JJ, this week, in my personal opinion. I can measure. I've tried 3 times on it this week, and I've been taken out at break even all 3 times. Now, I always prefer to trade gold. And this break, gold also looks pretty horrible, to be honest. Alright, so the only way I consider a buy is if this close bullish engulfing. Closest bullish engulfing in M15. We've bounced off this support. We've erased that bearish candle, so likely we've stopped out a lot of sellers. And at that point there's a good chance price will come up to 23.74. There should be enough margin. So that likely is going to be my focus now. I mean, the sells don't look like it's going to eventuate. What that will also do is close the M30 as a liquidity candle on wick to the downside, closing back bullish up at a time. And once again, suggest we grab liquidity from this support we had previously created, and if we just create a tiny lower wick and flip bullish, that could be the entry. Hourly looks, obviously the hourly is going to close back bullish as well. That's just adds confidence. Doesn't look as great in the hourly because it doesn't look like he got the margin. But based off the 30, based off the 15, I think it's a pretty solid entry. So that's what I'm waiting for now. All of a sudden, sells are off the table, and we could be, well, I could be potentially looking at some buys. So it's going to wait a little bit more than 4.5 minutes, and we'll see. Joseph, GJ. Yeah, I mean, looks okay for a sell as well. Bearish engulfing. I mean, you guys know how I feel about it. I prefer to trade gold. I'm much more comfortable trading gold. It is valid. But it's just, it's an awkward area. It's an awkward level on GJ. Still could pull up to that 4-hour resistance. Hasn't quite tapped into it. But yeah, it's valid. I'm going to focus on gold though. Okay, 3 minutes, looking pretty good. Yeah, so the other option is potentially GJ themselves. Bearish engulfing on the 15. Closing the M30 back bearish, long wick to the upside. A lot of volume in GJ right now. He might be able to use the 15 as his stop loss, otherwise he's going to have a really wide stop loss. I'm gonna wait just over 2 minutes and see if gold presents. All right, so what you're gonna have to do, guys, is just focus on what the highest point of this candle is. Then what you want to see is low wick, and then you can look to place a buy stop just above the high of the catalyst candle. Gotta wait just over a minute though. I'll try to let you know as promptly as I can, but it's one of those ones where you just got to get ready. You know what to look for. I don't want to pump though in the last 45 seconds because it's going to eat into the margin. It's going to make it invalid. On IC markets, I'd be looking around 23.72.20 as an entry. I want a low wick though. Want a low wick prior to any entry. So 23.72.20. No low wick. Has to pull back to create a low wick. Open up the new hourly as well. Hourly, yeah, I would definitely want a low wick. If it doesn't have it, I'm not entering. Watching it closely on my MetaTrader. We want to see this flip red. And if it doesn't, up to you guys. If you want to take a smaller risk entry, I'm personally not going to. I'm going to wait. It's a Friday. Want it to be perfect. Here goes. All right, it's game over, guys. That's it. It's not going to present. So plan worked. I mean, not the plan. Sorry, the analysis was correct. I don't have a low wick, so I'm not going to trust it on the Friday. But all good. If you are in it, you probably have about, by the looks of it, 6-7 pip profit right now. I wouldn't want to lose for this point, especially as no low wick. It could still reject. Well done if you are in it. But a bit like GJ, no low wick on that candle. Typical, isn't it? All right, that's one of those weeks, guys. Been a good one, but just been entries and opportunities have been fewer and far between than usual for me. It's going to end still in a really good positive. So for me, it was 1 win and 3 break evens for the week. That was it. A really good win, the 1 win, so keeps me well in profit for the week. And what it does is this is going to be not actually, there's a few more trading days for the end of July. July has been my best month all year. It has been fantastic. Another really solid month. Just trying to plan and not deviating. Not jumping in when it doesn't tick the box. That's what I do in the daily. I just stick to the plan. If it presents, I execute. If not, just like now, I'm happy to let it go. Even if it does make the move without me, it's all good. So that's about it, guys. Yeah, do trade safe if you are trading into NY. Obviously, high impact news to come with core PCE. That is one of the most underlying measure of inflation, really, CPI and PCE. So not sure what to make of him. I'm hearing a lot of different reports from just different news outlets that I, pay attention to. But based off this, doesn't mean I mean, it's likely they're not gonna stop and stance on interest rates anytime soon. But I'm hearing otherwise, so who knows? But yeah, be careful trading in CNY, guys, based on the news to come. Members, any of you are about, let me know, and I'll end this call and I'll jump on another call shortly with you guys. Otherwise, don't forget, hit like button, guys. Don't forget VIP. We've got a few more days to take advantage of that special introductory foundation membership offer. Link and the discount code is in the description below. So cheers, guys. Trade safe. Have a good week, good weekend. And I'll see you all Monday in the AM about 6:30, 6:40, 6:45 AM UK time. Till then, bye, guys. Take care. Cheers.